Welcome to Transitional Objects, a podcast about grief, friendship, trauma, healing, and the strange cosmic magic that shapes us when we're not looking. We're two longtime friends and therapists who've been through some things, a lot of things. And now we're talking about the big stuff, what we carried, what we let go of, and what we're still very much figuring out. Unfiltered, occasionally spiritual, always real. Think of it like therapy, but with more cosmic detours and fewer billing codes. Hi guys, welcome back to Transitional Objects. We're here again.
Hey, yes, we are.
We are.
Yeah, welcome.
We are here today with even a less maybe unstructured plan than we might normally have.
Such is life, though, too.
Such is life. Yeah. I think this is our conversation today is very loosely just based on a comment that Bridget made in text to me earlier this week, just about how she was flaring, meaning her Crohn's is flaring right now. Is that right, Bridget?
Yeah. Mildly, but yes, noticeably. Probably hence the early morning wakes too. So yeah, maybe now that I'm thinking out loud, like I haven't been sleeping.
Yeah.
What that does on a nervous system, and like my body is, I'm gonna say it, keeping score of when I flare. It's like alert, 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 all systems crashing down, when really it's not. Like I've had this for many years. I know exactly what to do to soothe and regulate and eat and take and et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah. So we wanted to have a conversation just kind of around how our bodies respond maybe to various circumstances in our lives, and how our bodies might remember and hold on to things and speak to us, whether directly or indirectly.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good snapshot. I think too, what we can talk about, if you're open to talking about it, because I'm just like remembering as we speak. Last week was an anniversary of a very significant death in your life, Beau, which was your ex-boyfriend, that I was also with you when finding that out. And that was every January 10, I always think of that day, think of that exact moment of the early morning. Oh, now we are making sense as we speak. There was an early morning wake to this.
Dang.
The phone ringing. Now it's, see, I told you in the moment.
Goosebumps. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, in the moment, our psyches are pretty cool. But yeah, we got woken up by like a nonstop ringing of a phone. And it was just like abnormal. We were like 23, 26 years old. And who the fuck calls us at 5 in the morning or earlier, or whatever time. I mean, it was early for us. And so just remembering that and just also just reflecting like where you and I are since that date and what we had to go through after that date to get to where we're at, and how just a date on a calendar can do many things in our body and do many things even in our cognitive selves, like our spiritual selves, like things that can at times make sense and some of those things that don't make sense, right? The coincidental, serendipitous stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm wondering, I had not thought of this before, but now I'm wondering if your flare somehow has anything to do with this, or maybe there's a possibility of that.
Now you're talking. Okay. Because I am this porous, whether I like it or not, I am this porous empath, to a default.
Well, but also this impacted you.
Big time, yes.
What happened had a big impact on you that your body would remember.
Yes, vicariously. I remember just like, oh shit, I'm going to lose my best friend. I can see her like slipping away, and all of my own kind of parts around what do I do to keep her, okay, and not change us and then feeling, I think we've talked about this before, but and then feeling like really shitty and guilty about, well, what the fuck? Like she just lost someone so significant. Who the fuck am I to like
Yeah.
take that away from her? And so this it really icky internal thing that I was holding in. I couldn't really tell you in the moment either, obviously,
Right.
because I mean, of this profound loss. So yeah, it's like I'm wondering too, like my body having to, how it's showing up in that time of year. And this year just so happens to be, yeah, a little bit flary. Not, and also, I know before we press play here, like waking up cyclically, which
Mhm.
I know we've talked about before, hormones, blah, blah, but this has been like really significant and wide awake. Sometimes,
Well,
usually I
yeah.
can go back to sleep, but I'm just
Yeah.
like up.
Yeah. So what time have you been waking up recently?
So last night, the 2 nights ago, I was like wide awake at 4.
Hmm.
Like I was just like, I'm up. I got up, I did work, I made breakfast. I mean, I meditated, I was up. And then last night, I again, same thing, but it was more like 2:45,
Hmm.
2:30-ish.
Hmm.
And I was up for about 2 or 3 hours, and then I had like lucid. I was like, this time I'm staying in bed. I'm not gonna get up. I'm just gonna just be. And
Yeah.
so I would drift until 6:30. So
I've been getting up at
yeah, what about you?
3:30-ish, 3:30, between 3:15 and 4 for the past. I've gone through cycles where I've woken up at this time, but I thought
Yeah,
it was getting better more recently, but I haven't been quite
same.
tracking it, but maybe it's just been this week like that I've been getting up that early and being up, which is interesting talking about it through the lens of the anniversary last week. Hmm.
Big time. Yeah, right.
And to get a little like woo woo for a sec, I've heard that the 3:30 in the morning time is supposed to be like the time of day that the veil is the most thin. And that's a time of like communication with the other side, whatever
Okay.
that's interesting.
Okay, we are just making sense of this.
Yeah.
Because it can be so dysregulating. And
Yeah.
you can, and where you go, it's like, oh no, this again. But really, if you look, if you have some kind of reframe around it,
Hmm.
it can start
Yeah.
making more sense than being more threatening.
So in other situations, separate from this, like when you have had flares, have you noticed a theme of kind of what might be going on in your life at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is to that now, there's such an intimate connection to my body in this way and stress. And it can be anything from parenting stress, professional stress, or just in the world. And what I'll tell you is it, I think it's actually reactive to what's happening in the world because I want to say, I want to knock on wood here. Like everything else is really great. I'm really grateful for and enriched right now in my life. And, but I'm not, I feel a real dread when it comes to just things that are happening in the world. And I've put like safeguards up against, I've been limiting social media. I've been like trying not to read certain like buzz hot, sensationalized trauma headlines of the world. So I think honestly, like it's a combination of perhaps some of that, the timestamp of Jan 10, and also just the back to back events of stuff happening.
Yeah.
The ice situation, I don't know about Arizona, but here as we speak, ice is has taken a number of people in the Portland metro area. And obviously, this is coming off of what happened in Minnesota. And so I think just like having that systemic agita, it can notice it.
Mhm.
Also, I know I've said this before, but we both have been in practice for quite some time, and I feel like I'm a good, healthy disassociator and differentiator when it comes to me picking up and absorbing others, even though I'm like a porous empath for whatever reason in my practice, I'm able to do it. But because so many people that I see are coming in with the same, it's like it's hard not to, for my system. I mean, I can't really help it, but like my empathic attunement's getting maybe too, it's like crossing that line and
Yeah.
maybe absorbing more than I want.
Yeah.
And hence the flare.
Yeah. Yeah. So your system is maybe a little bit overrun, overworked, doesn't have the same protection, layers of protection that I might have up under the best of circumstances. And then there's all these external world events going on around you, and then a significant date comes up, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
sure that this is what
No.
that this past date had an influence on you in this way, but just talking about this as a more general concept, like our bodies remember. So, when something significant happens, even if we're not aware of the date, aware that the date is approaching or the season is approaching, our bodies will remember that and they respond accordingly. So maybe have a flare if we have some kind of chronic condition, or we might be more apt to get sick.
Right.
Or old patterns maybe are a little bit louder during that time.
Yeah.
Bodies remember. And so
Yeah.
it's really interesting that just how that possibility of why or how both of us might be just seeing things in our body that aren't like normal for.
Now that you're talking, I'm thinking, oh yeah, what's the 1 month of every year that is I can pinpoint as consistent? It's March, without a doubt. March. March. That's my first 4-day vertigo spell where I thought I was stroking. This was in 2021. It was like 2 days before March 21st, which was when I lost God. And oh my God, if I can pinpoint, and I journal some of my symptoms when they become more like a pattern. So I have a log each month of every year. In March, so it's interesting. I'm like, okay, let's see what these are going to sound like in March. And is there a way that my nervous system and my sensory system, all of it, my immune system will give me a break? And so anyway, I just like, as you're talking about January 10, I'm like, oh yeah, March, like the whole friggin' month is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So just a quick side note, if anyone is confused why we're talking about January and March, but January 10th was the day a very significant person in my life died. And then March 21st was the day a very significant person in your life died.
Right. And I was with him. Yeah.
And you were with him. Yeah.
When he died. Yes.
As he died. Yeah.
Yes.
Years apart. But what we're talking about here is whether we've been aware of it or not, like different ways that our bodies have responded around the timing of those days as years have passed.
That's right. Yes. Thank you for that summary. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, that is so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it does start to really make a lot of sense when you sit back and take just one step back and look at it. And it makes a lot more sense when you can remember to take a little note of it throughout the years. And then you can start to see like how your body communicates. What is your body needing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How is it processing? And so it starts to tell a story.
Yeah, it does. So last Saturday was January 10th, which was the 19th. Can you fucking believe it? 19th anniversary of Beau's death, which on that day 19 years ago, we were together when we got the call. Gosh. So as you know, and as we've talked about, my relationship with death and with him and with grief has completely evolved over those 19 years. And now when an anniversary comes up, or when the death anniversary or when his birthday comes up, it's not sad for me. Like it's like side note, we were texting that morning.
Yes.
It's a day. It's become a day, as crazy as this might sound, but it's become a day where like these like magical, crazy, like how the fuck does that happen type of like synchronicities happen.
Yes. Dragonflies, a bunch of dragonflies.
Yeah, a bunch of dragonflies, as we call it. So that's amazing. And those things I view as like these magical moments. So when I have a day where that happens, it's just, oh my God, like again, it's happening again. It's just mind blowing. But so that morning you
Yes.
texted me
Yeah.
and we have just a very brief back and forth text conversation. And during that time, I was driving on my way to yoga and I stopped at a stoplight and a car, and this is 8 a.m. and a car pulled up next to me, blasting so loud, "Don't Stop Believing," which I mean,
8 a.m.
who blasts "Don't Stop Believing" at 8 a.m.?
They're on a vibe, man.
But Don't
Oh,
Stop
wow.
Believing is a very meaningful song for us.
Yes,
And that is a song that I don't even know how it started, it doesn't matter right now, but that's a song that we kind of used as I don't know, a reminder to like, a reminder of each other, a reminder to not give up, you know, or just to say hi. So it somehow became that. And then over the years, whenever one of us hears that song, we'll text the other, like, "Don't Stop Believing."
Yes. Yeah.
So for this car to pull up, be blasting that particular song was huge, like hugely significant. What? How is this possible? As I'm texting you on this day. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
My mind was blown.
My mind was blown too, because you're like, what the?
Yes. So all that to say is that happened on that day. And those are the types of things that happen now on anniversaries and birthdays that make those days I don't think of them as hard days anymore.
Yeah.
So for me to, you know, logically think that maybe that's those days or those reminders or that time are still like somehow stressful on my system isn't like, I don't think I would say is the first place my mind would go, because it doesn't feel that way. Cognitively, it doesn't feel that way to me.
Right.
So I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't looking for that. But I did notice on Sunday at the end of the weekend that it ended up, and we've talked about this before, like what kind of becomes my default coping is eating.
Oh, yes. That's
So
right.
I noticed on Sunday that the whole weekend I had been like, I've been really trying to like due to the perimenopause stuff, really trying to cut back on sugar and sweets. Stuff has been hugely helpful from that lens. So I don't do a lot of that much these days. But on Sunday, I noticed, God, I had like sweets every night, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Like I had them every night this weekend, and was just like kind of like a little more fuck it with I'm gonna eat than I would normally be. And I wasn't super aware of it until Sunday, but then I was like, oh wow, that is really interesting. Like this week, significant one.
Yes.
Is it related to that? It might be. There's a possibility it is, as again through the lens of my body, just remembering time and needing soothing.
Yeah, because that, again, like we've talked about, like your default, like that way, even just like modeled familially for you. This is how you cope. This is how you
this is soothing.
This is how you regulate. This is, I'm gonna do this. But interestingly enough, also hearing you say, because you have your relationship with grieving, Beau, has evolved in so many ways, different ways, healthy ways. Just, it's interesting that there's like this juxtaposition or this, I don't know, I don't want to say incongruency. It's just, oh, she's here too. Yes, you've grown. Yes, you've evolved. Oh my gosh, you have like now it's all right, what's going to happen today? But also it's almost like but don't forget me.
Yeah, don't forget that heartbroken little 26-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know, poor little 26-year-old me. I know, yeah. And even just saying that like that, it's really sad. And I shouldn't dismiss it completely, because there is sadness associated with those days, but it's really more about that, what I just said, like how devastated that younger version of me was, because now enough years have passed that I can really see how young that is, 26 years old, and how the world I had lived in and believed in, and the only, was the stability, just blew up that morning. and like I had nothing. And so that's where the sadness lies now more so. That is interesting that
she like crept in a little bit.
yeah, she crept in. She's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah. And then I also have the other thing I had noticed is I've recently discovered I think it's, how do I say it? Seborrheic dermatitis.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
little flaky. Like I get these little
Yeah.
flaky things on my chin and my
Yeah.
nose, on my scalp. And I finally just put it together. I think that's what this is.
Oh.
That flared this week too.
Oh. Well.
Well.
Here she is, just
That-
popping up in all sorts
Yeah.
of ways. And so how is it now? Like it's been what? Oh wait, it's only been
It hasn't even been a
it
week.
hasn't been a week.
A week.
How are you
Yeah.
feeling now? What are some of those symptoms and now that you have like more awareness around them?
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would say I'm feeling okay, but yet my skin is flaking.
Interesting.
So like I feel like I feel okay, but my body is saying something like
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yes, and what the body sometimes communicates before we, and then that can be even, like I said, paradoxical. I'm feeling great. This is wonderful. Yet I'm flaring. Or
Mhm.
yet the dermatitis is flaring or whatever it is. I'm eating more. It's
Yeah.
interesting. That can feel disorienting until like you take a step back and make some connections on, oh yeah, our bodies aren't always completely in sync with how we are existing consciously. It's just, it echoes.
Yeah.
It shows up. Like it can be embodied in a way where it may feel scary, it may feel uncomfortable and painful even, but it gets a way of like, oh, hey, it's like that little, it's like the 26-year-old you or a younger me. Like, oh, hey, this is what, don't forget about me, essentially. I'm going to
Yeah.
go away though. This is going to last forever. I'm going to just pop in here, just a reminder, and then go away. But it's like, how do we navigate that disorientation with our physical self, embodied self, and like what you said, the cognitive self? I would even say, like, I don't even know if this is a term, but like our emotional cognitive self. Like me asking you, how are you feeling? I feel good. Like cognitively, you're able to say, I'm feeling great. I'm
Yeah.
feeling hope. And so like reconciling or reckoning with my body's not. And that's okay.
And
And that's okay.
It's maybe it is part of the experience journey.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It doesn't mean that there's another loss. It doesn't mean that it's prepping or planning for another trauma. Where sometimes with chronic illness, it can. And say, oh my gosh, is this going to be the time that I have to go to the hospital? Oh my gosh, is this rash going to go all over my body, not just my chin?
Yeah.
It can't.
Yeah.
We have to have a level of conscientious, like mindfulness with some of the things that our body communicates, even though we are feeling
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And that's where I can go like unchecked if I have something like that, be like, I need to fix it. I need to figure this out. Why is this happening? What do I need to do about it? Blah, blah, blah. But maybe with something like this, it's
Yes.
it need to be fixed.
Yep.
It's gonna go away. It's just a like little flare up.
And that's so yes. But then what that requires is a certain level of trust. And back to your non-resolution, but intention, like having more trust in yourself and your body, that we don't have to spiral with this. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's painful, but I'm going to trust. I'm going to invest in trust rather than invest in agita or spiraling or what.
Yeah, I like that. It's good.
Yeah. I think so many people can probably relate, or some of this may resonate because nowadays it's again like there's a lot of shit going on outside and within families, within relationships. There's a lot of trauma that is permeating. And so I'm wondering, like, in what ways for others symptoms are happening or like,
Yeah, well, when we were texting yesterday and we were trying to figure out what we're talking about today, trying to clarify
Yes.
that, I brought it up under the title of The Body Keeps the Score, which is the name of a book by Bessel
Van
van
der Kolk.
Kolk. And that talks about this very, very broadly, this general idea of how our body holds on to and remembers things and shows back up. But it sounds like I wasn't aware of this really, but it sounds like that terminology you've just been seeing and hearing in a lot of places, like maybe to the point of overuse.
Yes,
Is that right?
that's what I said. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I had a kind of not a visceral reaction, but just, I was like eye roll, to be honest. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, nah, we can do better than that. And what's that about? What the
Yeah.
fuck? And I think because it's been, yeah, that phrase, the body keeping the score, it's been so poppy, like the
Yeah.
pop psychology, like with gaslighting and narcissistic abuse. And
Become one of those.
again, these are real deal things. These are truly traumatic moments and traits that people either have or have witnessed and have had to survive in.
Yeah.
And body keeping score, I feel like it's different, but it's been grouped into this overused way.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like Bessel van der Kolk has great work on it. He nailed it. I think a lot of his, from what I remember, it's been so long since I've read that, but I think he started with war vets or
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
but I think yes, body keeping score, but also hearing it and getting that visceral kind of non-conscious reaction, like eye roll. It's yeah, this is interesting how I perceived it in the moment. It's so, and usually there's something to be said about that when there's like a recoil
Yeah.
that's immediate. Like what is that? What's underneath
Yeah.
that recoil? And yes, I know I said it's a little poppy, it's a little overused. I think I had that reaction because and I think I also mentioned to you in that text, I deeply resonate with it. And to a point where it's like my body sometimes communicates more. And I'm like victim to my body. I know that sounds weird, but where it is so deeply resonating with me that to have it be used so frivolously. And
Mm.
again, I don't even know if frivolously is a word to connect to it, but overused in my experience, it cheapens it. It makes it not as validating. It makes it feel like, oh, yeah, you just flare all the time. And your body's just keeping the score. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's more than that. And but it is that. And I think my kind of like rejection to it, that's even a strong word, but my resistance to even use that in this episode was because ironically, I do really resonate with it. And because of the overuse, it has allowed me personally to feel overlooked. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah. It sounds a lot like the way I felt about coping skills. So the term
Okay.
coping skills,
Yeah.
we discussed that a couple episodes ago.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that is so true and
It's so personal.
personal.
It's
Yeah.
so personal. It's so freaking vulnerable. It's
Mhm.
so because what we're talking about is like two things, maybe more, but the two that stick out are one, a devastating, profound trauma, and then two, another like manifestation of that trauma.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so,
In
like,
itself could be traumatic.
exactly, yes. And so that is, and then to have an overuse term to describe that
Yeah.
experience.
Well, if you were to come to me and be sharing what your experience was, and I were to say something like, oh, that's just the body keeping the score, or use that term in such a nonchalant way. Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. That does feel like it could feel very diminishing. It could feel very much, this isn't real, or this is just, blah, blah, blah. It's something we can
Hmm.
easily package up into whatever the most current trendy phrase might be. And
Yes.
experience.
Right. So I think that there's an irony in it with
Mhm.
with my recoil to it.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
and I know this sounds so stupid, but it's no, let me tell you about the body keeping score.
What
It's
do you
like,
know about that?
no, what do you don't know nothing. But yeah, I'm glad we're talking about it because clearly I was holding on to some
Yeah.
stuff around it.
It's interesting though, because you were saying a second ago about how this just in the world, like all these terrible events, potentially traumatic events happening and it having an impact on just so many things having an impact on so many people right now. And also you seeing this terminology of the body keeps the score being used a lot, thrown around maybe in a way
Hmm.
that feels light. So that's just interesting to me that both of those things seem to be showing up in large amounts. And so if people are, and I actually have not heard the term the body keeps the score being overused in any way, but maybe that's because I've completely stay off any type of media and only sit in my house. So nobody in my house talking about it.
Love it.
But anyway, it's just interesting that like I just wonder how much maybe people in general are maybe trying to make sense of their experience or what's happening to them. And this term somehow, became popularized. And so
Hmm.
that's what we hear. And we like let's label it as that.
Yeah, I feel like the same thing with gaslighting and
Yeah.
narcissistic and again, these are like really can potentially be dangerous psychologically, emotionally, all the things that someone can go through, yet, right? It's so loosely and at times weaponized against
Mhm.
people who are not. I will say that. But also, yeah, I mean, it happens and it happens a lot. People navigating and going through these like people, relationships that have traits of narcissism, have traits, gaslighting tendencies, manipulation, those types of things. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hope this is somewhat like making sense, but because it is paradoxical in a way where it's like the bigger, more impactful, like dangerous, harmful thing is being
Yeah.
overused at times. And again,
Yeah.
I think I like what you said about who experience this, like want to find some kind of language to make sense of it. Absolutely. Yes. I
Yeah.
think it's when it's used inappropriately or it's misused,
Hmm.
um, it
Yeah.
can be problematic. But
Yeah. I feel that way about the word trauma all the time. Like
yeah.
trauma as a word is so
Uh-huh.
misused. Makes me
Yeah, we've
crazy.
used trauma in here.
Yeah, yeah. But it's interesting because in some ways, like yeah, like having a name for an experience and starting to just talk about these things and name these things as something, even if we're not totally accurate in the way we're naming it, is talking about it more, kind of bringing
Hmm.
it more into the conversation about a lot of topics that for a long time have not been understood, have not been named, have been stigmatized, have been something we don't talk about. That's
Hmm.
created its own problems. So now
Hmm.
on one side of the coin, I could see there's some positives in that because we talk about these things more and we have a name for them and maybe we
Right.
have a loose understanding of what they might be. But there's another side of the coin too, where yeah, it can create using them in the wrong way or overusing these terms can create more confusion and it can minimize it can
Hmm.
feel minimizing of the experience.
Hmm. I'm going to add one too.
Yeah.
And or just using it and not going deeper, just labeling it as such,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
you
And
know,
not doing
and not
anything
do
with it.
and not doing like, well, tell me more about that. Let's talk about that. And that's just what it is.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like they have this label, they have a term for it, and that's enough.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
And then I think you might be saying, and then to me, that feels that can almost become like a crutch. Like, oh, that's just my blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
That's just my traits or
Do
my
you,
narc.
yes, and I mean, he's just so OCD.
Yeah. Moving on to the
Yeah.
next thing. Because
Well, wait a minute. Does he really have obsessive compulsive disorder? Because that can be really debilitating. And that's a whole other story, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
It can make it really easy just to say it
label it. Yes.
and go.
I think so.
Mhm.
Which could add to like this like recoil of, I don't, yeah. And this as much as I think I can gather from my reaction and experience to these types of things. And it just so happened to be the phrase body keeping score.
Mhm.
But there are other words, phrases that have kind of had similar effects in the world.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
anything else? What do you, I mean, I know this is hopping and jumping and nonlinear, but such is life.
Yeah.
Is that a fire in the back?
Yes, it is. There's a fireplace in this room. It's so cozy.
Oh my gosh. Wait, but isn't it Arizona hot?
Yes, but
Oh,
it's not hot right now. I'm sure
oh,
it's warm to you. It's January and
yeah. How cold is it there? Here we are just
we're looking at our
transitioning to weather.
it's 62 degrees right now.
Okay. I love you.
It's freezing.
It's just
Freezing.
Bridget outside. I gotta
Bridget. Gotta
love
have a
that.
fire. Oh, yeah.
Oh
Well,
God, I
if I
love
don't use
that.
it now, it's never getting used. So certainly not going to use
Okay,
it.
yeah. I mean, in January, it's like you know, you
Yeah.
get like one month of the year
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
it. Okay, yeah, I thought that's what I saw
Yeah.
in the corner there.
Maybe my body's still,
Yeah, it needs that warmth.
needs warmth and coziness.
Yeah,
I
like a
need that.
warm hug. Me
Mhm.
too. Me
Mhm.
too. You're in the right climate
Mhm.
for that. You chose really wisely.
A warm hug following me around all the
Yeah,
time.
all the time. Just go outside. It's lovely
Yeah.
out there until it's
Hmm.
not. Then you got to
Yeah.
go back in.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, okay. So
okay.
let's pay attention though to, for the rest of,
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know, there's no timeline. The rest of the week, the rest of the month, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
How do our bodies continue to respond to what we know is a trying time
Yeah.
out?
Oh, and maybe even shifting the like relationship to it, meaning not being trying not to be so threatened by it
Yeah.
and know that it's part of a bigger thing. That if you just engage in a little bit of trust, that it's going to be okay. Of
Mhm.
course, if there are symptoms that are frightening, like obviously for shortness of breath, we are not telling you to stay put if you can't breathe. Go to
Yeah.
the ER, emergency immediately.
Mhm.
But yes, just had to
Yeah.
disclaim that, you know?
Yeah. And that's interesting. That's interesting though, like for my example, considering the flaky skin,
Yeah.
like from the lens of what's the word? I don't know, just hi, I see you.
Yes.
I understand why
Mhm.
you're here. Like
Yes.
we don't, as it relates to emotions, don't with grief, we don't expect, some people do, but realistic expectation, we don't expect like the emotions of grief or associated with grief to ever 100% completely go away forever, right? There's always going to be some sort of it, there's always potential for there to be some sort of emotional response, whether it's on an anniversary or any other day, but to
Hmm.
feel something. So maybe there's always potential too for the physical things to be there. And so
Yeah.
and it happens still occasionally, but if I hear a song or think of something related to the deaths I've experienced, like will still, there's potential that I might still cry all
Mm.
these later. But I don't view that as being negative or as that being anything wrong with me, right? I'm just like,
Right. Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. So all that to
Hmm.
say, if I view the physical things in a
Hmm.
similar way, like, oh yeah, of course, that makes,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay.
and it's okay. Does that change the experience? Well,
Yeah. That's a
no.
good question
Yeah.
that I will be conscientious and mindful of, and hopefully others will too.
Yeah. And in some ways, like with the crying, for me now, that actually feels
good and it feels like a connection and it feels, oh yeah, of course, I do still feel it. I should still feel it. It feels very normalizing. So I think there's potential. I haven't approached it through this lens before, but I think there's potential for the physical stuff to maybe feel like, oh yeah, that was a real
Yeah.
thing that happened.
Yeah,
That was a
right,
big
right.
real thing that happened. And
Yeah.
to be responding still to that
Yes.
makes sense and is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. We could even go as far as thank you for showing up.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding me of
Yes.
my life blew up.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I like that.
Me too. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Any-
on that note, thanks to the flares. Here's to the flares.
Yeah, here's to the flares. Thank you for flaring.
Thanks for
Me,
flares.
because they're not going to be, they're going to go away.
Yeah.
It's short-lived. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
That's our episode. Proof that therapists can overshare too. If you're leaving this feeling a little more human, good. That's kind of the point. Send this to someone who gets it, or someone who really needs to. We'll be back soon with more stories, more tenderness, and a rotating cast of unresolved issues. And maybe a few coping skills. Maybe. Until then, hold yourself like you would someone you love.